And we're still months away from the peak of hurricane season. That means you have to make an evacuation plan now.
Yeah, what you should not do is wait for contraflow. It's a complicated process that takes a long time for officials to put in place. And as Rachel Handley explains, that hasn't changed even as storms have.
We hear it again and again. Contraflow is not something to count on.
Contraflow is a last resort.
It involves reversing the flow of one side of an interstate so that all lanes go in one direction, away from the storm. It was first used in Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina, then Gustav. But for most storms, you won't see it. DOTD spokesman Rodney Mallett says to call for contraflow, a mandatory evacuation has to be in place in New Orleans. The hurricane also has to be at least a Category 3, and most importantly, crews need time.
We have, I don't even know how many hundreds of signals we have to work on. We have to put out barricades. We have to put out the orange cones.
Right now, the DOTD requires 72 hours of notice to put contraflow in place. It didn't have that before Ida, Delta, or Zeta.
If the storms keep increasing and coming at us that much quicker, I think it gets us further and further away from being able to implement contraflow.
Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang thinks with more storms rapidly intensifying, a 3-day heads up will get even rarer.
There was an old feeling that we're going to wait, and if it gets bad enough, the state or the local officials are going to call for contraflow, and we're going to wait to hear, the words contraflow before we leave. And I don't want people to get caught up in that trap.
There is talk of shortening that 72-hour window. At a city council meeting last week, New Orleans' director of emergency preparedness said parish and state leaders are working on it.
Trying to maybe bring down that timeline in any way possible.
Mallett says that's true, but at least for this hurricane season, which is predicted to be more active than usual, nothing has changed.
We're having a very hard time minimizing that 72 hours.
If you do end up evacuating, Mallett says northbound routes tend to be less crowded, and everything will go smoother if you make a plan now. Rachel Handley, WWL Louisiana.
And parish leaders are part of the conversation, but ultimately the final decision of whether to call for contraflow is in the hands of the state.